Welcome back to another episode of Scot Talk, where we sit down with members of the College of Worcester athletic staff and get to know them. I am Noah Golovan, a sophomore political science major here at the College of Worcester, and I'm a member of the men's swimming and diving team. I'm joined by Rob Harrington, who is in his 18th season as the head coach for the Fighting Scots. Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
Perfect. So you're actually a former Fighting Scots swimmer. We swam a lot of the same events. What stood out to you about Worcester when you were here as a prospective student athlete?
Yeah, when I first got to campus, I think one of the first things that stood out to me was actually the campus itself. A lot of effort's been put into the grounds and the buildings here. And I think the second thing that stood out to me were the people. The generosity and the kindness of the students, staff, and faculty was something really special.
Following that up, obviously you have experience on both sides of the aisle now. What makes Worcester so special from a coaching standpoint?
For me, I think it's the sense of community. The students and the staff members feel a part of something bigger, something special here at the College of Worcester.
Yeah, a lot of tradition here within the program. We have 3 national champions, 21 top 20 finishes at the Division III championships, 250 all-time All-Americans here at Worcester for our swimmers and divers. All this while competing for the North Coast, competing in the North Coast Athletic Conference, which is the preeminent conference in Division III swimming. How have current and recent Scots been able to carry on the tradition of excellence?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, Cameron Gelwicks set our school records in the 200 freestyle and the 500 freestyle. And went on to represent us at the national championships. And then last year, Molly Likens broke a school record in the 100 breaststroke, and Madison Whitman broke another school record in the 200 breaststroke. Both achieved All-American honors, but due to COVID, they are unfortunately unable to compete at our national championships.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they can do this year. Timken Natatorium is home of our program. I love swimming at Timken. What are some of the things that stand out to you about Timken?
I've always liked Timken. While it's not the biggest pool, not the fanciest pool, I think it's a great environment for practice and a great environment for dual meets. I should mention that Timken Natatorium has undergone some renovations. We now have a new roof and ceiling, new lane lines, backstroke flags, and underwater lights. And most importantly, we installed a new water filtration system. And I should also mention that we also had some renovations recently done to our women's locker room.
Yeah, the locker room is really cool. So not only do we have access to Timken, but we also have access to the Chris Matthews Aquatic Center. And this access allows us to have meets such as our Worcester Invitational, which is our midseason invite. Can you talk a little bit about how having access to this facility and the ability to have this home midseason invitational helps differentiate Worcester from other programs?
Yeah, it's nice to have access to the Chris Matthews Aquatic Center. It's only about 2 miles down the road. It's attached to our high school. This is an indoor 8-lane, 50-meter pool by 25 yards. The competition end is about 13 feet deep. I hazard to say that it's probably within the top 10 fastest pools in the state of Ohio. But having it so close to campus, we are allowed to run some tri-meets, some quad meets, our mid-season invitational, which is a great way to kind of see where our team is mid-season. But what's also nice about it is our students don't have to leave campus. They can stay on campus for this meet. They can go to classes. And it doesn't interrupt their academic pursuits here. So the Chris Matthews Aquatic Complex is an amazing opportunity for us, and we're pretty lucky to have it.
I wholeheartedly agree. So you talked a little bit about COVID and some of the stuff that we've had to go through. A lot has changed since March. So what are some of the ways that the team has been able to stay connected during COVID and the stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, I think Microsoft Teams and Zoom has played a big role in that. Social media has certainly helped. But now that the college pool is back open again, the team has been able to reconnect in person through doing some preseason practices. So needless to say, the team has stayed pretty close.
Yeah, I agree with you. The age of technology has really aided in keeping us close together. So as we conclude the episode of Scot Talk, we're actually going to do a quick fire off some questions round. We want you to answer the first thing that pops into your head. Sound good, Rob?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, perfect. Well, let's start off. Favorite memory from when you were a fighting Scot swimmer?
I would have to say the cheers we do before meets.
Favorite winter training trip tradition as a coach?
I'd have to just say the warm weather and swimming outside.
Favorite go-to sport around Worcester for fall activities?
I'd have to say it's a tie for me. I like Worcester Memorial Park, which is located not too far off of campus. And now that I have kids, I have a 5-year-old and 6-year-old daughter. Ramsire Farm is a big one as well.
Favorite non-athletic tradition at the College of Worcester?
I'd have to say Calc Arch, filling it with snow or entering as a first year and exiting as a senior. Calc Arch is probably my tradition.
And finally, favorite spot on the campus that is an athletic facility?
Yeah, I'd have to say the Oak Grove of the academic quad.
Yeah, really, really pretty. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Scot Talk, Rob. We'll be back soon with another episode.